Myself, my name is Daniel Sharon, and I'm a training development officer within the Canadian Army in a very dynamic organization in order to reflect the needs of current operations. It's a very challenging position, but I've learned a lot during my time. During my day-to-day work, I facilitate various groups with the intention of developing training and instructional products. I work with a lot of different people throughout a project in order to create a meaningful curriculum. This includes attending meetings with key players in the organization, delivering and directing and guiding staff. I'm currently living in Belleville, Ontario with my wife and my son. For my first artifact, I have a baseball. I spent a lot of time and energy when I was growing up playing different sports. I played baseball, played hockey at fairly high levels. Through sport, I learned a lot of various lessons. Majority of my learning as a young individual was through sport. I learned a lot about myself through teamwork, through communication, dedication, and betterment of myself. I found that sport challenged me to be a better individual, and I learned that if you want to do something and be successful at something, you need to put in a lot of work. I learned definitely a lot of skills that have impacted me positively till today. Second artifact, I have a license plate from Pennsylvania. The reason why I chose this item was because I conducted my undergraduate degree in Pennsylvania. Moving to a different country at 18 years old and not knowing anyone at the university, I had to grow up fairly fast. I had to be very self-dependent. Also, I had to be able to understand what challenges were before me, both academically and personally, and I had to overcome a lot of those challenges. Academically, of course, within an undergraduate program, I had a lot of very valuable learning, and I had a lot of learning that taught me, that has continued to teach me and be successful within the career I have chosen. But also, personally, just having to rely on myself and having to be very self-dependent is something that really has resonated with me and has made me the person I am as well today. For my third artifact, I have my master's degree from University of British Columbia that I completed in 2016. I was very interested in educational technology, and I decided to pursue the master's within that program. I was out of the classroom for a while, and getting back into an academic classroom was very challenging. I found that as an adult learner, I was much more prepared to be more successful in adult education. I found that having the experience and taking that experience into the master's program, being out of school for about 10 years, I was definitely a different student, and going and doing that taught me a lot about myself. Again, it taught me a lot that, over time, I definitely had changed as a person from when I did my undergraduate degree, and I found that I was more prepared for any challenges that came up in that program. For my fourth artifact, I chose a military epaulet. Joining the military has played a major role and has impacted my life greatly. Military courses and training are vastly different than academic programs and academic training. A course like basic training alone, it challenges a person both physically, mentally, and it really tears a person down and makes a person understand what their limitations actually are. And then from there, you're built back up with the understanding of you can face different challenges that you might not have been able to think you could not face in the past, but you're able to overcome those challenges. Also, within working in the Canadian Armed Forces, I've done a lot of different training, and I've done a lot of different courses that have taught me a lot of skills that I use both inside work and outside work. And I think the military has made me to be a stronger person because of what I personally have had to go through. So that concludes my artifacts, and again, thank you for listening to my video.